Hey, welcome everyone to a Friday episode of the Call Sheet Podcast here at the Fans First Sports Network. Coach Kevin Smith with you. It is Hot Route Friday, probably the most exciting hot route of the NFL season because it's playoff weekend. And as usual, my main man, my right-hand man here on the show, Pez, is back with us, as is Mrs. Pez, back by popular demand. Michelle, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Pez, what's happening, man?
Well, as you know, Coach, coming in, playing injured today, right before we started shooting, I had a wisdom tooth that broke, and there was about half of it left. So my lovely wife here handed me some pliers and then told me she'd vomit if she watched, but I yanked it out. They say you don't need your wisdom tooth. Did it hurt briefly? But that's what we do playoff week. The Philadelphia Eagles, you know, they play that hard, Coach. Pittsburgh Steelers, you got to support your teams, you got to be a team player. So feeling a lot better. Have a little bourbon. We're not gambling, really. We're not talking gambling universally at this show. So we can drink. We can yank teeth out. I'm channeling 1984 Philadelphia Flyers. I'm feeling great. Feeling very manly. A little blood spit out. I think the wife was impressed by it a little bit.
It's pretty badass.
You're getting in the zone, man. Getting in the zone.
We're zoning.
Yeah, playoff zone. Absolutely. You know, they do have modern dentistry these days, but either way, pliers,
The guy told me I can't see you for a week. I said, okay, no problem. No problem. I got pliers. I mean, so I'm kind of proud of myself. You know, at my age, I didn't think I had it anymore, but God bless the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm channeling Lane Johnson coming back from injury. Can't wait, Coach. Can't wait. I'm getting ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, it is exciting. Before we get to all that, just got done Christmas break, the holidays, New Year's, etc. I know you guys were up skiing in the frozen tundra there in Vermont. Michelle, I was in your old stomping grounds. My family went out to Arizona. We were attending my niece's wedding, Emma and Carson getting married out there in Tempe. And then we took a day trip down to Tucson toward the University of Arizona, where you went to college, right? When you think back to your days in Tucson, right? What comes to mind?
It's going back. Tucson, it just pulled me there. You know, it was an otherworldly place. Definitely cool in culture and food, cuisine, and a lot of hiking, a lot of partying. It was fun. Big school, awesome campus.
Beautiful campus. Yeah, beautiful campus. Very interesting town. We found out that Tucson is one of only 2 cities in the United States that is a UNESCO site, which means that they have basically are honored by the United Nations for their food cultivation, their encouragement of local markets. Only Tucson and San Antonio are UNESCO sites. You sent us to a restaurant there, which I can't remember the name of it now off the top of my head. What restaurant was it? Boca, yeah, man. Excellent street tacos, great vibe. Really, really cool place, Tucson.
Great salsa there, Coach. The salsa sampler is legendary at that place right there.
Well, we almost watched a little kid die from that salsa sampler because when the waitress laid it out, she was very specific about the order. She was like left to right, mild to hot. And the little kid at the table next door, he didn't get the message, and he went all the way to the right, and then almost dropped dead. He freaked out in there, man.
Had some good times on that street, 4th Avenue.
Oh, I'm sure. So here's what I wanted to get into, though, right? I thought this would be a great way to kick off the show. My niece got married in Tempe, home of Arizona State. Arizona State's my fake alma mater. I got my online master's from Arizona State, Fear the Fork. You went to U of A. They are obviously huge rivals. We've seen a major move in the football world this week when the Baltimore Ravens fired longtime head coach John Harbaugh after the Ravens lost a heartbreaker on Sunday night to their big rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin have coached against each other 40 times, second most of any 2 coaches in NFL history. When you guys think of great rivalries, what comes to mind?
Go ahead, Michelle.
Well, I'm thinking film first, I guess. Buzz and Woody. Or Maverick and Iceman.
Oh, Maverick and Ice. That's a good rivalry. I like that one.
Classic man dances right there. Perhaps Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Very modern, controversial kind of rivalry.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That was
I think
isn't that the movie where she stole him away from Jen? I think that was the movie.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yosemite Sam sexy. And the Roadrunner, a classic rivalry that was almost 100% victorious for one side. That guy, he never learned that the line he couldn't stop crossing it, Coach. Similar to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cockroaches, a team that people celebrate. The last time I think they won a championship, I was in high school, and I'm about half a century old, as you know. So it maybe not a rivalry, maybe a pathetic excuse for a rivalry, but classic battles with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I have never seen NFL action in the old days when they were still allowed to kind of projectile tackle and, headhunt a little bit there. I've never seen harder hitting games than we used to see probably going back 10, 15 years ago, Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I still remember the 2008 AFC Championship game between those two teams. Hardest hitting game I've ever seen. What do you think makes a good rivalry? Whether we're talking sports, film, you brought up some great film rivalries. I was thinking Rocky and Apollo, obviously. Pez, I'm a little disappointed. I'm going to drop something on you right now. You're going to be shocked that I even know this, because this is a bone of contention between Bill and I. Bill is very salty that I've never seen Karate Kid. I mean, but isn't Daniel versus Johnny one of the classic film rivalries?
Well, probably Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai, to be technical. Okay. But yes, great rivalry that grew into a friendship for the Karate Kid series on Netflix. Pat's and Geno's, South Philly, kind of a friendly rivalry that they both enjoy a lot of patronage for. People come from out of town. You split one at Pat's, you split one at Geno's. You kind of decide. I think they're both pretty solid. I think at the end of the day, though, Angelo's is probably the dominant cheesesteak. Maybe Uncle Gus there in Reading Terminal, part of Angelo's. But yeah, Johnny and Danielson, a classic rivalry, 1984. I was probably 10, 11 years old, and helped shape my life, Coach. I mean, you Mr. Miyagi, if I could do it all over again, that would be my life coach as well, my best friend as well. Poor guy passed away, and it started, I believe, on Happy Days. I mean, I think he was the original Big Al.
Yeah. What do you think makes a great rivalry, though? Like you mentioned Philadelphia, Dallas. Now, that's a rivalry because they hate each other. Is it a rivalry also as well, though, because is there competitive balance there? Like if one team is dominating the other constantly, is that a rivalry?
I think both have to be high level at whatever we're talking about. Coke and Pepsi, classic rivalry, both quality sodas. McDonald's, Burger King. You could argue both have quality sandwiches, quality burgers. In today's world, maybe it's Chipotle versus Chick-fil-A, perhaps. Both top of their game right now, probably the top fast food. But I think you're right. I think the Philadelphia-Dallas rivalry is not as much a rivalry anymore. You have to be top of your game. I'm thinking Philadelphia Flyers, New Jersey Devils in the 90s. Got a classic pound for pound heavyweight championship every time they got together. You thinking back to Mickey Ward and the Gotti fights, where classic battles where you had even partners going at it, giving their all, and at the end of the day, that's all we can ask for in life.
I think
Michelle, men are so rivalry centric because they're so competitive. Are women similar?
Oh yeah. Different way, different approaches, maybe a little bit more emotional at times in it, but it can also be like more intense in a way. And you get closer through the process sometimes. But they a good rivalry, like they challenge each other to up their game. So they reach their best potential through one another, I think, too. And it can bring out some nastiness. But it can also bring out like the best in someone.
Pearl Jam, Nirvana, a very kind of rivalry that brought both to the top of their game, and eventually they kind of saw neutral ground.
Yeah, that was short lived. Boy, when you go back though, man, there was a lot of conversation at the dawn of the rock and roll era. Like you liked the Beatles or you liked the Stones. Yeah, not a lot of people had a great passion for both. You were kind of one or the other, and it sort of defined you. If you liked the Stones, you were a little darker, a little edgier.
Mm-hmm.
If you liked the Beatles, then you were maybe like a little more cultured. I think these things are really cool to assess.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're all different too. But
I think Tucson and Phoenix have a big rivalry, don't they? A bit of a.
Well, the schools, yeah. There aren't many big schools in Arizona, so.
Yeah.
Those are two big ones.
The classic rivalry of our business, Fans First Sports Network versus ESPN. Jealous of our attention, jealous of our explosion onto the
100%.
scene. And bring it on, ESPN. What do you have? Sports Center? Bring it on. Bring it on, we said.
That's no hot route. That's no hot route, man. All right, I'll give you one more before we move on. End of another era. John Harbaugh gets fired in Baltimore. Steelers-Ravens rivalry won't be the same without it. MTV versus VH1 back in the day, right? VH1 emerged as the competitor to MTV, and MTV just pulled the plug on its entire operation. End of an era. What when you guys think about growing up, what do you remember about MTV?
Well, I was more of an MTV gal, but looking back, VH1 has done some cool stuff too. MTV, like music television, like it was a competition. It elevated each genre. You got that exposure, but also like showing it through the videos made like music more than music. It was like performance and costume and all of a sudden in these short pieces, and it really defined what everybody was listening to, but also culture. MTV, yeah. I actually read that they're still on air, that it's actually a myth that they've gone off completely. I haven't noticed though.
I don't know. We changed our cable package. I don't get any of that stuff anymore.
I don't watch MTV anymore, but back in the day.
Well, there you go. That's why they're pulling the plug.
You had the daily, I'm not sure, top 5 or top 10 countdown every weekday, followed by Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah.
The greatest hip hop show still ever, Coach. Maybe the only great hip hop show. but MTV VH1, not much of a rivalry. Now VH1 probably more the musical show. But I compare MTV VH1 to my wife, Coach, which I'm going to use the most vomitose creating feeling cliche at a wedding. I'll kick my coverage with this one here. So when we run into Pez's Picks exes, they're the VH1s. This is the MTV of our life, Coach. This is it. Not a rivalry, never a threat, my exes to my lovely wife here. But VH1, probably the MTV of today. Storytellers, pretty good kind of series. You can catch Bruce Springsteen on there. He grew that into a Broadway show. But I miss MTV. I miss being able to put a channel on. I talked to the youngsters, feeling a little bit of an unk here a little bit. MTV was art. It wasn't just music. It was the creation of those videos. And I think that made music. It celebrated art in a different way. Listening to music on your phone is not the same as listening to an MTV video or record, listening to an album in full. And that's something I think we're losing. And hopefully we get that back somehow. Records are on the comeback.
You go back and watch those videos and it really tells you a lot about the decade,
Yeah, they were telling stories. They were incorporating the technology of the day, which is funny when you go back and look at some of the early videos, because they thought, like, remember Aha's Take On Me video where they're weaving in and out of real versus animation? I mean, that was considered so modern, so advanced at the time. It's fascinating though, when you look at the arc of the technology and how it influenced music. The 80s was synthesizers and drum machines and all of that stuff. And it was cool and it was experimental, and the hair and the fashion was all woven into it. That's one thing I loved about the 80s and even the 90s is they were distinct. You can look at a video, you can mute it. You don't have to hear the songs. You just see the images and right away, oh, that's like 1986. That's 1995. But I don't know if that's true anymore.
Well, it moves so fast now. It's like, I don't think anyone stops to even appreciate the the developments because it's moving so fast.
Huey Lewis in the News, very underrated video creation. This is it. One of the greatest videos of my life. ZZ Top, very underrated video. And Sammy Hagar, I Can't Drive 55, sticks in my head, Coach. I mean, that classic theater, but the greatest 80s video, Smoking in the Boys Room, Motley Crue, Smoking Ain't Allowed in School, a breathtaking example of the 80s theater and music coming together. I contend maybe the greatest video ever.
Yeah, it's funny when you think about what resonates. What do you remember? I remember Tom Petty, Don't Come Around Here No More, doing the takeoff on Alice in Wonderland. And in the very last scene, like she's laid out on a table and they cut into her, like she's a cake and they eat her. It's great, man. It's great stuff.
Slick Rick children's story, greatest hip hop video ever. Second, followed by Run DMC, Christmas in Hollis, Queens, another classic hip hop video right there.
Yeah. All right, MTV. Well, if you really are gone, MTV, RIP, MTV, RIP. A lot of acronyms there. All right. Hey, let's move it to the main event this weekend. NFL playoffs kickoff. That is some exciting stuff. Real quick, the slate in each conference, the 3 NFC games, Rams at Carolina, Green Bay Packers at Chicago Bears. That is a great rivalry when we talk about rivalries. That is the oldest ongoing rivalry in the NFL. San Francisco 49ers at Philadelphia Eagles. Sneaky good rivalry. They've had some excellent playoff games, even regular season games over the last 5 or so years. Over on the AFC side, you get Buffalo at Jacksonville. You get the Chargers going cross country to play New England. And then I just hate that they have a Monday night playoff game. Houston at Pittsburgh. Where do we start, guys?
Well, the playoffs have changed, Coach, as you know. We now have more teams than we've ever had, which I think opens the door to finding the advantage in some of these games. Having said that, home underdogs cover at an incredible rate. 2015 to 2023, home dogs, 6-2 against the spread. That's a big indicator about what we have on opening weekend. Having said that, you're going to have home teams, and I think Carolina a little bit in this situation, who aren't that good of a team. I think you're also going to have teams that, when I look at New England, I'm trying to find reasons to play that team. Not a home dog, but a home fave. But rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs, abysmal record. But then we look at Herbert, abysmal playoff record, 0-2. So I think what you really have to look for is the advantage. We always stick at Pez's pick system. We look for the better quarterback. We look for the quarterback not going to turn the ball over. And I think playoffs, this, I know this, my wife knows this. They call the game differently. You can be more physical. Secondary can be more physical on receivers. Traditionally, defense wins in the playoffs. Running game wins in the playoffs. And it's why this week at Pez's Picks, we put out the most valuable future play I've ever seen, plus 900 Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I can't see how anyone isn't taking those odds. We're getting on it. We're going to hit Atlantic City tomorrow and put some money on that action.
Okay. All right. Michelle, give me one game where you either like a team, like you're like, hey man, I really like this team in this matchup, or you're just really interested in that game.
Well, I'm probably going with my heart here. I'm going to take the Birds, and also I put a long range bet in on the Steelers this summer. I have a lot riding on that game, so I'm taking the Steelers.
Plus
Let's
4,500. It was a plus $4,500 bet. We Pez Picks put that out. That was the greatest value play to win the Super Bowl in August. So $100 went you $4,500. We didn't go that big, but we went close, Coach. So we're looking to cash in big. And Pittsburgh Eagles Super Bowl would be a dream. Of course, we're going to cheer for the Birds, but if we lose, we'll be in Vegas that week, Coach. We'll be in Vegas for free. So either one we're going to be happy with in that one. But I caution people, Saturday night opening weekend, I have seen more gamblers in my life get into bigger trouble than I've ever seen anything. Saturday night opening weekend, people get pumped up. They tend to bet that 4 o'clock, 4:30 game, and then they tend to chase their money big on the Saturday night game. Nobody wants to go in Sunday morning in a hole. And I caution people, tread lightly, get your action in, sit home, reduce your action, only go with your top plays. That Rams-Carolina game, where you have Carolina getting 10.5 at home, suspect game. I wonder about that one. if the Rams are that good, why are they only a touchdown and a field goal favorite? I think Carolina, not that great of a team, but much better. A little chip on their shoulder, and Rams traveling to Carolina. That's a long trip going outside, and it appears the weather could be rainy, which would definitely help Carolina. Questionable game. We're not taking that one. At Pez's Picks, we're taking 3 NFL games. Rams Carolina is not one of them. Our picks are going to be posted in the morning. But can Josh Allen win a Super Bowl, perhaps with his worst team? And that's another narrative that we're going to be watching. Is Jacksonville for real? I'm not quite sure. I like Trevor Lawrence when he was in Dazed and Confused when he started as a high school kid. But I've never liked him as a quarterback coach, and I know he's played well this year. So perhaps he throws that in my face a little bit. But a questionable game we're not taking either.
Yeah, that Rams game is tricky. I mean, Carolina already beat the Rams this year. And you never know what you're going to get with Carolina. They've got some big wins. And they've got some brutal losses. They're 8-9, but we've seen games like this before. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks, the famous Beastquake game where Marshawn Lynch has one of the great runs in playoff history, runs through the entire, was that the Packers? I can't remember who they were playing in that game, but that Seattle team was 7-9 and they win their opening round playoff game. It's a new season. It really kind of resets the stakes. And this year, who's the favorite? I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, I'm sure Vegas can tell us, but I don't know. If you told me I had to bet money on one team, I just don't know who I'd put it on.
Currently, the betting favorite are the Seahawks. I think you're getting them at plus 350, which isn't a big favorite, but you're still getting a good return on that. Not sold on Sam Darnold, not sold on that team yet. They do have home field advantage. Seattle, one of the hardest places to play in the country. Climate, distance travel, weird stadium. They say the loudest stadium. We've been to that city, haven't we, Michelle? Very depressing place. It is rainy and depressing.
It is rainy.
I mean, very cloudy and kind of a weird feeling place, right? Might as well be Canada. Decent coffee, but
good fish.
Good fish. Good fish.
Well, Pez's buddy Lance, who's been a legend here on this show, Lance R.I.P., was a fishmonger, right? At the Seattle port there, if I remember correctly.
Very angry at that city when he was alive. He not only was banned from smoking cigarettes in his own apartment, he was banned from smoking outside. He'd go a block away. Called me on the daily about how angry the liberal Seattle hippies were that he couldn't even stand in front of his own building. But at the end of the day, maybe that's better. Maybe it's better to reduce smoking cigarettes. But rest in peace, Lance. We love him. We talk about him a lot. And I know he's cheering for the Birds this week for sure.
So, Michelle, tell me this, right? Is Bill, as an Eagles fan, or even are you as an Eagles fan, a passive or active fan on game day? Are you a screamer, yeller? Are you like all over the place? Or do you just kind of sit and casually observe?
I sit and casually observe. I'd say Bill's a little bit more active as a fan. Yeah. But he doesn't like negative cheering too much, so he tries to keep it positive.
You cannot negative cheer, Coach. A bad play, you cannot negative cheer. We got to cheer only for the positive plays. You can yell an expletive, but the negative cheering, I like to keep to a minimum. We did have a little friction. We had some friends over up in Vermont for the Eagles game. This one tried playing, I'm not sure what it was, some sort of trivia game during the game, and she told me I was being an asshole because I turned the game up as loud. I said, this is unacceptable. So a little bit of alcohol involved.
It's on the commercials.
Unacceptable, Coach. You need to dial in. You need to lock in. You need to get angry as an Eagles fan. And, this past week, notwithstanding, they forfeited this one. I think Sirianni did it right. I would much rather play the 49ers than I would Green Bay, even without, that scumbag from Dallas. I think the Green Bay Packers are a superior team, and I like our chances this week, Coach. I like our chances. I think we could have home field advantage going through. I really do. Well,
playoff time, it requires a singular focus. My children, selfishly, it's both of their birthdays this weekend.
Oh, wow.
I hope they don't demand anything like a birthday party that will take away my focus from the playoffs, but I guess I'll have to accommodate them. No, in all seriousness, Aiden and Shiloh, happy birthday. Turning 13 and 8 respectively. Aiden is a teenager. Your son, Leo, will be a
Wow.
teenager in the spring. Hard to believe, Pez. Hard to believe, Michelle.
God bless those kids of yours. I love that Moana and your boy Aiden and Leonardo. Still 12, but first wrestling match today, Coach. He didn't know much of the rules. The kid, we're gonna need that FFSN legal team involved today. Up 8 to 6 with 7 seconds left. Controversial middle school wrestling call. The guy called some sort of reverse takedown that many of us didn't see in the crowd. Leo didn't even know he lost. That kid fought like an animal. He's a Philadelphia Eagles fan. That's what we do. He didn't even know the rules. He got out there. He battled some career wrestling kid. And in my opinion, he kicked that kid's ass. So
Kicker.
salute all to our kids. They come from good bloodlines and some tough grandparents and parents. So God bless them.
Yep. Love them. Love them. You guys, it was a great show. Enjoy your conversation. Always your football perspective, your life perspective. And good luck this weekend, man. You know, I mean, those Birds, that's going to be a tough one against San Francisco. I think they're a sneaky good team.
Bite your tongue, Coach. Bite your tongue.
Go Birds.
All right. For Mr. and Mrs. Pez, this has been the Hot Route. Coach Kevin Smith with you. Join me on Monday. Boy, we're going to have a lot to talk about on Monday. Not only NFL playoffs, college playoffs as well. We are at the most exciting time of the year for football. So until then, hope everybody has a great weekend. Take care.